Welcome back to BikeBeat, where we bring the soul of motorcycling into sharp focus. Today, we're looking at a machine that doesn't just blend performance and design, it embodies them in raw metal, muscle, and thunder. This is the 2025 Suzuki M109R B.O.S.S, a cruiser that stands tall and wide with unapologetic aggression and a deep V-twin growl that lets you know it's here to take the streets, not ask for permission. While the world leans toward refinement and tech overload, Suzuki has decided to remind us what happens when a motorcycle is designed first and foremost to thrill. From the moment you set eyes on the M109R B.O.S.S, it's clear this isn't your average cruiser. The proportions are outrageous in the best possible way. A massive 5.2-gallon sculpted fuel tank flows into a slammed solo seat, flanked by muscular side panels that give it an unmistakable silhouette. It still looks like a brawler, wide, planted, and ready to pounce. The stance is aggressive, thanks to that big front fork and low rear profile. The rear tire? A massive 240mm section of rubber that gives the bike serious visual and mechanical grip. It looks more like a dragster than a traditional cruiser, and that's exactly what Suzuki intended. The B.O.S.S treatment adds to its intimidation factor. Everything that can be blacked out is. Engine covers, exhaust, handlebars, front fork, wheels coated in gloss and matte finishes that exude toughness. But it's not all just darkness. For 2025, Suzuki introduces updated color schemes that bring contrast and flair. You get two-tone options like Candy Daring Red and Glass Sparkle Black or Pearl Brilliant White with Matte Black. These aren't just colors, they're design statements. Now, let's talk about what really matters on a bike like this, the engine. At the heart of the M109R is a 1,783 cubic centimeters, liquid-cooled, 54-degree V-twin. It's one of the biggest and most powerful V-twins ever placed in a production cruiser. The engine delivers around 128 horsepower and a massive 118 pound-feet of torque. That torque comes in low and hits hard. From a stoplight, the bike launches with ferocity. On the highway, it pulls with authority in any gear. You're never waiting for power, it's always there. The bike uses Suzuki's dual throttle valve system for smooth fuel delivery, and the power band is impressively linear for an engine this big. No sudden spikes, just a continuous surge that makes every ride addictive. Power is transferred to the rear wheel via a shaft drive, which means lower maintenance and consistent performance. The throttle response is clean, and despite the bike's size and weight, it doesn't feel sluggish. It actually encourages aggressive riding, which isn't something you can say about many cruisers. The M109R doesn't want to be babied, it wants to be ridden hard. The frame is a high-tensile steel tube chassis designed to handle the power and mass of the bike without compromising too much on agility. Up front, you get an inverted 46mm front fork with 5.1 inches of travel, and at the rear, a single-shock setup that's hidden to preserve the clean cruiser lines. It's not sport bike sharp, but for a 764-pound machine, the M109R handles surprisingly well. It leans with stability, and at speed, it feels planted and confident. Braking is handled by dual 310mm discs up front with radial mount calipers and a 275mm disc at the rear. ABS comes standard, and for 2025, Suzuki has tuned the system to be less intrusive, offering more natural engagement under hard braking. It's not packed with modern rider aids, there's no traction control, no IMU, and no ride modes, but what you get is a very analog, connected riding experience. This is a bike that puts you in full control, and for many riders, that's exactly what they're looking for. The cockpit reflects this no-nonsense approach. The instrument cluster is a hybrid analog-digital setup. You get a big analog tachometer up front, flanked by a digital display that shows speed, gear position, fuel level, and trip info. It's easy to read at a glance, and it keeps the rider's focus on the road. There's no TFT screen, no touch interface, and frankly, the bike is better for it. This machine is about feel, sound, and power, not swiping through menus. That being said, Suzuki hasn't completely ignored modern updates. For 2025, they've upgraded the lighting system across the board. The new LED headlight is brighter and more focused, improving visibility at night and giving the front end a sharper, more modern look. The tail light and indicators have also been converted to LED, offering better durability and a sleeker finish. The switchgear feels solid and familiar, with the standard layout that makes everything easy to use without needing to look down. Ergonomically, the M109R is built for comfort within reason. The seat is wide and supportive, perfect for long-distance cruising. The handlebars are wide in drag style, giving you a commanding position over the front wheel. Forward foot controls are standard, stretching your legs into that laid-back cruiser posture. This riding position gives you a lot of control, especially at higher speeds. However, it's not ideal for everyone. Riders with shorter inseams might find the reach a bit of a stretch, and passengers won't have much to say about the pillion other than that it's small and better left for short trips. Still, for solo riders who want power and presence, this setup is hard to beat. On the road, the M109R rides with attitude. It's not a nimble city commuter, but it wasn't built for that. This bike is at home on the open road, on highway stretches where you can open it up and let the V-twin roar. That sound, by the way, is pure symphony for cruiser lovers. The stock exhaust already has a deep, throaty note, but many owners will likely opt for aftermarket pipes to fully unleash that growl. It's the kind of bike that announces its presence with authority, even before you see it coming. Fuel economy isn't the highlight here. You're looking at around 35 miles per gallon in mixed conditions, but that's not why anyone buys a bike like this. You buy the M109R for the thrill, the presence, and the way it makes every ride feel like a cinematic event. It doesn't blend in with traffic, it leads it, with attitude. Now let's talk price. The 2025 Suzuki M109R B.O.S.S is priced around $15,599. That places it in an interesting segment. Cheaper than a Harley-Davidson Breakout or Diavel V4, but offering comparable power and way more engine displacement than most similarly priced cruisers. Add in Suzuki's reputation for build quality and reliability, and you've got one of the best value propositions in the power cruiser world. Maintenance is generally straightforward, with long service intervals and a shaft drive that doesn't require constant attention. Insurance isn't as bad as you might expect either, unless you have a history of right-hand wrist trouble. What really makes the M109R B.O.S.S stand out is its unique identity. It's not trying to be retro, nor does it chase sport bike numbers. It's a cruiser that delivers knockout torque, looks like it was carved from stone, and doesn't rely on screens or apps to connect with the rider. In a world full of increasingly complicated motorcycles, this one cuts through the noise with simplicity, force, and confidence. Whether you're a longtime fan or a curious first-timer, the M109R B.O.S.S is a ride worth experiencing. It's got the looks, the grunt, and the attitude to back it up. It may not be for everyone, but for those who understand what it offers, it's a hard bike to walk away from. This is a motorcycle for riders who don't want compromises. If you want a machine that combines brute force with long-haul comfort and a styling cue that turns heads at every intersection, the 2025 M109R B.O.S.S could be the one. Suzuki has kept the formula simple: big engine, bold design, minimal electronics, maximum thrill. In an age where motorcycles are becoming smarter, the M109R just wants to go faster. And in many ways, that's exactly what makes it so appealing. That's our take on the 2025 Suzuki M109R B.O.S.S. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns, and let us know in the comments, would you ride this beast or do you prefer something a little more refined? Until next time, keep riding, stay safe, and remember, every ride has a rhythm. This is Bike Beat, signing off.